Yeah, we're excited to get back to work this week, preparing for a much improved Rice team. There's no way you can look at their record because I think they've probably played one of the toughest schedules in Conference USA. I think 8 out of the 10 teams that they've played are already bowl eligible, and a lot of those games came down to the wire. I think they're finding their identity under a new head coach and really getting better each and every week. They've really been improving. So a really good football team. The bye week came at the perfect time for us. I don't know that I've ever seen or had a season that we've had this many injuries. We're far from 100% injury-wise, but it did get us, an opportunity to get some of the minor, injuries, bumps, bruises this past week healthy, and hopefully we can get some of those guys back and ready to go this weekend. I don't have to explain the situation to our team. They understand we have to win our last 2 in order to get bowl eligible. So we have a lot to play for. I know we have to have a tremendous amount of detail, in our preparation this week in order to go out there and have success. I feel very confident that the leadership on this team will, get us there in the right way and continuing to, make sure that we're doing everything possible in order to go have success on the road. And this is one of those weeks you can't have any room for regret when you come home from Rice. So, we're excited about the opportunity and looking forward to a great battle this weekend.
How's Mason?
He's fine.
He's going to be okay?
Yeah, he'll be good.
How's the team responded after the Louisiana Tech game over the course of the past day?
It's always, it's always a struggle early, when you don't have success and you don't play the way that you need to in order to win a football game. It's never fun. Again, it's you got to battle back and you got to learn from the mistakes, and you got to find a way to rebound and get the morale back together, and making sure that you don't let the same team beat you twice. That's what you can't let happen. And so we've had some ups and downs. We got to fight through it and make sure that our mindset and psyche is the way it needs to be going into this week.
Rice obviously got their first win disputed last week. What did you see from that game, and how does that describe?
Well, they continue to play physical and hard. I mean, you see that on tape each and every week. They've played a lot again. Like I said, they've played a tough schedule. Took Louisiana Tech to overtime. Had a chance against Baylor. A number of other games, they've had opportunities. Whether a mistake was happening or not, they had opportunities to win those football games. And so, I think, the last week doesn't surprise me. I think they're a team that can step in and beat anybody in our conference. They haven't had the successes they've wanted throughout the year, obviously, but they're an extremely physical and tough football team, and they're going to continue to play hard.
Regarding Ladarius Hamilton, this is his last season. What can you say about his time at North Texas?
Yeah, obviously a great player for us, and he's really grown and developed, and stepped up and been a great leader for us. Obviously, he's that guy up front, that brings the juice and the energy, and hopefully we can close it out for him the right way.
In high school, he played in a lot of different positions, like the O-line. I was also told that Coach Armstrong really did like putting him in different positions. How do you feel like his multifaceted capabilities helped him become a defensive end?
Well, again, I think they did a great job in high school putting one of their best players, at a lot of different positions to help them be successful. And he loves football, and so he has a high football IQ, and he's able to do those things. But the transition, to the D line, it was a lot of hard work early, in order to develop and get bigger, stronger. At the same time, losing your quick twitch and all the things that make him good at what he does. And so there's been a lot of hard work put in it, not only on the field but off the field. And I'm proud of him. And again, I'm excited to to finish out the right way with him.
Getting towards the end of the season, have you seen any of the younger guys step up as leaders?
They're always continuing to grow. We're always trying to build our, the leadership of this team, whether it's freshmen throughout all of our classes. And, our old guys have done a good job with this young group, continuing to instill our culture, our core values, and, building on their leadership. Some guys have stepped up, there's no doubt. Looking forward to, a lot of these young guys. I feel like we got a lot of talent, and this younger group, and some guys have stepped in and made some plays for us. I mean, look at a lot of the receivers, some DBs. So it's we're excited about the future. Now it's just a matter of now they're getting some reps, they've gotten some game time and experiences, which is only going to carry over into this offseason and help them become better.
You mentioned Ladarius. I think this is his third year that he's been a team captain, if I'm not mistaken. Has he kind of grown into that role where everybody on this team looks to him to kind of set the tone for?
Well, I thought coming in, he was one of those freshmen that really led that group. All that freshman class that first year, and I thought he did a great job. He's vocal. He has a great work ethic, and it's kind of evolved over the years. It's challenging early, especially when you got we had some older guys that were had been a part of this team, were great leaders, and sometimes not wanting to overstep. Some of those older guys around you and letting them have a voice, especially it's harder when you're not out there making as many plays, and so he's had to develop into that role, and he's done a great job with it.
Is that something that's, in the course of your career, is that something that's fairly unusual to have a guy be a team captain 3 years in a row like that?
It is. It's rare to have a 3-year, captain, but at the same time, every year's different. Every team's different, and I think we've played a lot of young guys here the first couple of years, and so a lot of those guys were pressed into roles early to where they had to step up. And again, some of that, you have great leadership skills, but at times it takes you getting out on the field and proving yourself and making sure that you're able to validate, that role as well. And so that's why I think, sometimes with the younger men, it's not that they don't have great leadership qualities, not that they're not great leaders of their group. It just kind of as it goes through the time, your role gets bigger as it goes, especially when you're out there and competing and making plays.
As you mentioned that you guys are in a bit of a tight spot trying to get bowl eligible. Do you look to those kind of guys like Ladarius at the end of this season to try to?
Ladarius, Mike Law, Mason Fine. There's a number of guys. I mean, again, I have a tremendous amount of respect for this group. A lot of these guys came in together. I think they've done a tremendous job here with their time and changing the culture and making sure that we've won a lot of games with those guys. And so I want to make sure that and our team wants to make sure that we send them out the right way. And so we got our backs up against the wall. We're in a position to where there's no room for error, like I said, and it's important to us to prepare the right way and go win football games.
You mentioned earlier in the year that the challenge for him was to get the strength added to that quick twitch, as you've always said that he has. Has he grown in that way and become a better player?
This is really the year to where he's gotten up to close to 260 and being able to carry the weight, not lose it throughout the year. Again, that's something that he had to buy into and have a great off season in order to come in where he needs to be and be able to sustain it throughout a season. And so he's put in the work, and he's done a great job with it. It's been important to him.
About the indoor practice facility, now that you've been able to utilize it with the cold and wet weather we've had in the last couple of weeks, what do you like about being able to utilize the indoor?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, when the fields are wet, they don't drain, it gets slippery. There's more room for injuries or pulls or rolling an ankle here or there. I think it's important, but I still think you have to practice in the elements as well. I mean, it's going to be important to just because if it's raining or a little bit cold or damp, that you're not going to be able to go out and utilize the grass fields, but you got to be able to play in it too. So it's been good for us though, because there has been some days to where it's been extreme weather with some lightning and whether you're on and off the field and how long the delays hit. is important, and then also being able to do both. Go indoors, go outdoors and get your work in, and then when it's time to maybe get some other good work without some of the distractions, it's good to be able to get in those indoors and in a controlled climate setting. So it's been great. The indoors phenomenal. They did an unbelievable job with it. I think it's second to none.
Last question about the Darius for me. What was your first impression when you first met him in high school?
Loved ball. Was very passionate, and you could tell he really had the leadership skills to step in, and we had high expectations for him immediately. He was a guy that was probably more developed than a lot of guys in that class, and he was just passionate about ball. That's what we're trying to find, guys that fit our culture and guys that love ball, want to be around it every day, want to, if they're eating up with it a lot of the times and they're willing to put the work in, I don't care how many stars you have, a lot of those guys will be successful just because of their passion, and he definitely had that.
North Texas has signed you to a contract extension after the last couple of years. It kind of gives you an extended period there to build. And now North Texas has also signed Grant to another extension. What does that do for you as you start to build this program? Does that give you some stability there, or what does that do for you?
I don't look, to be honest, I don't truly look at the stability aspect of a contract. More importantly, I think of what do we need to do in order to build a program that's going to sustain and have success on a year in and year out basis. I understand the standards. They've grown as we've continued every year, winning games, going to bowl games. Now we got to win bowl games. We got to continue to get to bowl games. Those are the things that's the standard. Look, I think North Texas is an unbelievable university, and I think that with the resources and the people in place that we can do special things here. It's a matter of making sure that, again, continuing to build and grow and continue to get better.
When you go in and sit in living rooms with kids' parents and those players, and they know that you've got, a contract.
Oh, it definitely helps in recruiting. Yeah, you're not on the last year of your contract. I mean, it's very challenging going and recruiting guys if they don't know that you're going to be the head coach there. But again, on the flip side, it's always something, right? It's either you're having that success and people are telling them that you're not going to be a part of a university, or you're not, and people tell them you're not going to be a part of the university. And so, again, I try not to focus in on that as much as building relationships. Again, that's the biggest thing with me in recruiting, with the prospects, their families, their coaches, their communities, finding those relationships and showing what North Texas has to offer, because again, it's an unbelievable university with great people, guys here that truly care about, furthering our mentoring our student athletes into being great not only on the field but off the field. And again, with our leadership, the resources are in place in order to have that success.
You mentioned that you guys are in kind of a tight spot here towards the end of the season. How do you guys go about handling that as players and coaches, or
continue to lock in and focus, just trying to prepare the right way. Again, it starts with the preparation. I've said it throughout, and then once you have a great week of preparation, you have to go out and perform on Saturdays as coaches and players. Some weeks, we've done that. Some weeks we haven't had that success. So again, it's still going about your everyday business of making sure that you're continuing to get better and hopefully get a better week of preparation than you had the week before.
You guys go on the road this week. It's been kind of a tough spot for you, and we've talked about it through the year, trying to bring more energy on the road. Is there anything that you guys look at that you can do differently to maybe break through on the road?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're not going to have everybody on the road. It's just not reality. You're not going to have your fans behind you. It's reality. You have to feed off, the other crowd. You have to feed off each other. And again, when it comes down to it, you got to be mentally tough enough to go in there. It doesn't matter whether it's on the road or at home. Everybody has a job to do, coaches and players alike, and you got to go out there, execute, and perform. Again, it is what it is. There's a lot of teams that go on the road and have success that don't have, same amount. So to me, the focus is on going on the road and making sure you you tighten up, your focus, and let's go make plays.
Rice really relied on Tom Stewart in their victory over Middle Tennessee. What can the defense do to really force him out of the pocket in his pass game this week?
Well, they're going to have to do a great job. I mean, they give you a lot of different personnel groupings. They're a very physical team. They want to, first off, get that run game going, get off, and then once you start crowding that line of scrimmage, he's going to start play action and getting the ball over your head. And so you got to do a good job of making sure your eyes are right in your run fits, and then being able to see low hat, high hat, making sure that outside you're going to have to be physical. When you're covering those receivers up, they're big, strong guys that can, they'll throw 50-50 jump balls to, and they've come down and made a lot of plays. And so, it's going to have to be a total, obviously, team effort, and defensively, I think we're going to have to step up at all positions and make sure that we play a physical football game, because that's what's going to come down to, in my opinion. The most physical team will win.
This seems like it'd be kind of a special game for Jameel, considering he was committed to Rice for a little while.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Jameel that.
Well, I will, but I mean, what has he contributed to your team over the time?
He's been a great teammate. He's been a guy that he's extremely smart. He's had to play multiple positions at times. With some of the injuries this season, like at Shoot Law Tech, I think he played a position that he hadn't practiced at all week because he was playing at another position, and we felt like we had the depth at that other one. And so again, he's a guy that understands the defense. He's really smart, which is one of his biggest strengths, and he's really growing into it, and he's done a great job for us.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.